I have like a small, like just ideas I was jotting down the other night. Literally, like when you asked me, it's like, oh, is there a particular thing that you want to talk about? Obviously, the whole point kind of this is I don't want there to be
like a distinct
thing to do. Yeah, it's like effortless conversation, you know, and if you start turning it into an interview, there's a disconnect, and you start to struggle to relate to a lot of the stuff being said.
It's like we're friends, so it's not like you don't want to be like interviewing your friends and stuff.
Well, exactly. And obviously initially, so when you said you wanted to be on a podcast, the first thing I thought about was that conversation we had the other day. And I find your perspective on stuff so fascinating for me, because me at your age never had, like, I don't think I thought how you do currently at your age, which is fascinating to me, especially considering I almost feel like there is a subconscious responsibility for me to be a certain way or to say certain things around you, because those are things I would have either wanted to hear when I was your age or didn't want to hear, for example.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I understand that, because I feel like I just think a lot. I think too much about stuff, and therefore like the people I hang around with, I just sort of like gain information and like a lot of knowledge. But I don't know, I love the fact that I hang around with like older people and stuff, and I just find comfort in that.
Yeah, I think that's the and I noticed this. It's just, so we met at a skate park.
Yeah,
you skate. I've recently revisited skating.
Yeah.
And like, I think the general consensus is that skating is probably one of those communal things where the age range is bonkers. It's the whole.
I've hung around with like guys in their 60s to like kids in their like just starting like secondary school, and I'm like, there's like everybody there. Like you can find people from all walks of life, and it's just like, I love the fact that that's the whole community has that in common. Like,
it's almost like it's almost a culture.
Yeah,
it is like skate culture. It's this culture of like it's really like, you're on the ball with saying like everyone comes from a different walk of life. You'll meet people with different views that you would have never known existed.
Oh yeah.
And that's, I think, more now than when I used to skate as a kid. At least from my experience skating as a child was kind of, I don't know if I spoke to you about this or if I spoke to Luke about this, but I felt almost the only reason I skated when I was younger was out of peer pressure because everyone else was doing it. Yeah, no, because I know what you mean, because I hang around with people. I got a friend, and he always feels like he's missing out because he's just sort of like hanging around, but like he does. I don't know if he wants to skate or not, but I always feel bad because I'm like, oh, I want to include you, but I don't know if you're like, if we're pressuring you into like skating with us or just hanging around with us, and I always feel like I should say something. But no, I know exactly what that's like. I think the fact that you're even aware of that just shows like the evolution between like when I used to skate as a kid and skating's evolved like a lot, so much. Oh yeah, even just down to the base, like the tools of like you like getting a skateboard is now cheaper than it used to be. Oh yeah. It's easier. Finding a skate park is easier. Oh yeah. Like it's even just like the skate park we skate at the most is like when I was young, that was a quarter pipe, a bank, a metal one as well. Yeah, and it was terrible. And there's always like smashed bottles of glass everywhere. Like it was literally like it's a society had just forgotten it. Yeah. Didn't want to be involved. But I feel like it's definitely made a massive comeback, and just society's, I don't know why, it's just become, it's brought it back and it made it this new thing. But it's always sort of like been around, but
everybody's sort of just, I feel like it's gained a lot more just followers, just people.
Yeah. What do you think about like, so now it's an Olympic sport? Do you think, like, because I know a lot of people, and especially I've noticed with a couple of the olders at the skate park, they're very much like, you know, so like Niger Houston, for example.
Oh yes.
Very anti-Niger.
Yes.
A lot of people, which is surprising.
We've had quite a few discussions about him. So, am I allowed to say names?
Yeah, literally.
So, first name, so Callum. So we went round. So we have a friend called Scum, and me, Callum, and the manager of Blonde. So Reese. I think Jasmine. We all went to his house.
The Blonde Collective.
Yeah, the Blonde Collective. We went around his house, Scum's house, to like watch it, and we were watching the Street League, not the league.
It was on really early in the morning, wasn't it? Or were you rewatching?
I think we rewatched it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, I'm like, these people are crazy. And then Niger came on. Like, I was looking at all these people, I'm like, these are great. And the Japanese skater Yuto.
Oh, mate.
What a fuck. Oh,
insane.
Crazy guy.
Raw talent.
Nothing he did was like not cool. It was just so like perfect. And then Niger came on and everybody in the room was just like, oh, fuck off. Like,
yeah.
We don't want you here. But people seem to hate him. For some things he's done, yeah, I get why, but I don't know. I feel like he's just a bit overrated. And I was talking to my dad about this actually. I feel like skaters who have made that much money and done that much skating in their life tend to, like, I don't know, sell out and just sort of do ads for
that's the huge. So when I got into skating, that was like, so the big names who sold out was like Ryan Sheckler and Rob Deerdeck.
Yeah.
And even just stuff like, I can't remember his first name, but McGill, like, he was a classic. And I remember I bought a McGill board and it was terrible. It was just some like cheap.
Yeah.
Like, it was my first skateboard when I was like 8. But yeah, like, but I feel like the standards are too high to the point where Niger is now considered a sellout. Exactly. It's wild to me, because when I first knew, like, when I was skating, Niger was in dreads, you know.
Yeah.
And
he was chilling with like rappers and stuff.
And he was just like, because, you know, he was brought up by a Rastafarian father, and he had these huge, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, the dude's crazy successful now. He probably had one of the worst childhoods for like a skater in terms of just pressure. Because I don't know if you ever read into or just looked into in general, but like the way his dad treated him. His dad was like, you're gonna win every contest.
Oh no.
You're gonna get up every morning and you're gonna skate, like, you're gonna skate till you die. Like,
that's horrible.
But I know, like, I think he eventually, so his dad actually lost custody in the end. And because his dad was living, I'm going to assume Jamaica. And then, so his family moved to LA, but because he still already had that mindset of grind, you know, skate constantly. He just went from there, Element sponsor, Nike sponsor, and now look where he's at. He's the richest, like, he's from primarily skating, he's the richest skateboarder on the planet. Obviously, if it's anything to do with skating, it's Tony Hawk. But
in terms of money and
in terms of winning competitions, being a pro skater, because obviously, like, I think Tony made the most money off the game.
Yeah, and
by far.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy.
He's really cool. Have you ever seen a podcast with Tony Hawkin?
I've seen one with his son. His son is really interesting as well.
Is it what's his name? Flynn? No.
I think it is like, I think it is Flynn.
Yeah, something like that.
It was on the Misfits podcast, and I like their podcast. That's really cool, and he sort of goes into detail about his dad's life, like Tony Hawk, and I'm like, that's sick. Like, he's got such this such rich background of like how he used to like grow up skating these like vert ramps. I'm like, I've never like set foot on a vert ramp, and I still to this day I'm just like, I need to, because I want to experience like how he's got so far on that, and I haven't even gone near that.
So you've never been to like St. Neots?
I've never gone to St. Neots. I can't get a lift there, or I realize I'm like 16 and I just don't have a car.
Yeah, you don't have that. I mean, I remember finding it crazy when you turn up at Norton. You're like, yeah, I live in Bulldog. I was like, oh, cool. What do you me assuming you were older than you were, I was like, do you drive? And you're like, no, I'm 15 at the time. I walk. I was like, you walk? Like, I'm like, the only reason I go to Norton is because I can drive there.
Yeah, I know. I get up because this summer's been pretty crazy. But every summer for the past like, I don't know, 2 and a bit years, I've just got up, even like just half terms, weekends, just making sure I can like get up, walk to Common, skate to Common, and I love it. It's just it's good exercise because it's just like I don't know, and I have that drive to like get there and go there, and just when I get there, just seeing people, make sure someone's there, so I just like can chat with someone for a bit when I get there, and that's always really nice to just that's what gives me like the drive to get there, is just making sure like someone's there and I can go chat with them and skate with them. That's like a bit of comfort for me.
I mean, yeah, for me, I think skating, like the best it could, got me through lockdown. Just because you had that rule where you could go out and skate, and it's like, oh, well, I have to share the skate park. There's a guy there. We're going to get along. And it's like, that's your get out of jail free card to kind of be able to socialize and be in an environment that's considered safe. And I think Norton specifically is really good for that because the community is so rich.
Yeah. When lockdown happened, I was quite upset because my parents were quite strict about like, oh, you got to stay inside. Don't go near people. And I was like, oh no, I can't skate. And they were like, oh, we'll let you go out in car parks and stuff. And I was like, okay. So I would like just like skate around like Baldock and Letchworth. And I remember skating to Letchworth. And there's a Costa, Costa Coffee, the one by Audi. And it's got like this curb. It's got a fat curb outside. And I spent the whole of like, I don't know, April and May of 2020, maybe March as well, April 20, skating that curb, learning stuff I would have never like spent time doing because I would have been hanging with friends while skating instead of just focusing on like, because I'm quite impatient when it comes to like street tricks. So I told myself, I need to get them. I need to focus because there's no one else to distract me. So I learned all the little techie stuff on this curb, like doing backside 180s, frontside 180s, like trying heel flips, kick flips, just all this stuff. And I eventually got it. And then when we came out of lockdown, I lost it all. So I was like, I got to work and get off again. But I learned this sort of like ability to regain these tricks and actually focus instead of like just going off skating with my friends, but like focus on these tricks. And it really gave me like a sense of like, I can actually
discipline
work.
Almost.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed doing that. That was my lockdown skating experience.
Yeah, the majority of my lockdown was actually I spent cycling. It was only really when stuff started easing after the first lockdown, like over that summer.
Yeah.
That I started going to the skate park, and I think it's when the first time you really start, because you just fall into that pattern where it's like after a couple of days of seeing someone, it's like it's almost weird if we don't say hi.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the next point where it's like, oh yeah, and then you actually meet up to skate, and you just start meeting people, learning names, and then there you go, you get the backgrounds, and then you're now in this kind of social petri dish of different types of people.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great way to put it, because the amount of people I've met that I would never talk to at the skate park is crazy. Like the amount of like experiences I've had, and I'm like, I would never talk to this type of person just like on the street. Like you don't like. I would know if I saw you on like a train. I would sit like away from you.
I'd avoid you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seeing as you're like, you share this love, like this amazing place with me, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna like see what your story is, and everybody has a different like just experience to talk about, and it's like always got something new, either new to talk about or like, I don't know, there's always something to talk about at the skate park, which is
like my experience is literally I remember sitting down with Luke and a couple of his friends, and they just started talking about when they just went traveling and the stories they were coming out with. I was just like,
I think I remember that conversation.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and it's just like me and Barney like walked away from that and was like, fucking fair play. Like,
yeah, they've done some shit. They've done some cool shit.
Yeah, but then like at the same time, we bump into some old dude who's like, he's talking about like how he's struggling to move, and I've met this guy, and he was just talking about how he got kicked out of his house. He was homeless, living in London for a little bit. Managed to find a job, and whilst staying at a friend's, moved to Letchworth, and like he was literally like he was in the middle of like he was waiting to go to court to help testify against a friend of his, because a friend of his was caught nonsense basically.
Oh shit.
And he was like in his like 30s or 40s, and he was like, yeah, I'm actually supposed to be on my way to court in a bit, but I've heard there's a skate park here. And I was like, what? What's going on?
I feel like I've like heard. I recognize that sort of like
story.
Yeah.
I think it was. I don't think it was a friend. I think it was a colleague. I'm literally trying to pick this out like the best I can.
Poor guy.
I mean, he seemed to be fine with it. He was just like, yeah, dude was a twat. I'm going to go and say everything that I know. And thought I'd have a little skate whilst I'm here.
Little skate before we go to court.
Yeah, exactly. And then he said he's moving to Biggleswade, so he's actually going to be skating the Biggleswade Park more instead.
Or Biggleswade Park, I have my opinions about. I quite like the actual like park, but apparently the community, I haven't hung around there that much, but from what I hear from like, so my girlfriend's like says that it's like proper rough, like there's proper like roadies down there.
Oh, it's pretty road, man, in Biggleswade. I mean, from working in Biggleswade for 3 years, I don't like the place.
Yeah,
it's too much of, it's like Bedfordshire 2. It's Bedford 2. And I don't know if you've ever been to Bedford, but that place is like, it's not really my cup of tea. I'll stick to like, I feel like we're very much, because we're in North Hearts, where it's like, ooh, we've got Hitchin, little community like town square, and like we've got like out in the, like we've got Cambridgeshire's right there, and but then you can go over to Bedfordshire and all of a sudden it's like Sandy and Biggleswade, and like no disrespect to anyone who lives there. If to be honest, when I move out, hopefully, it's probably going to be Bedfordshire because it's a lot cheaper. Even like, so both, one of my neighbours and I think a lot of my other neighbours have expressed interest in literally just, if you just go literally out the bottom of my road, turn left up towards Norton, towards Stotfold, housing prices drop by like 20%.
Oh yeah.
It's like night and day, and you're in the same place.
Yeah.
But yeah, Biggleswade, the new park I prefer to the old park. I know a lot of people liked that old spine. And a lot of my friends who I knew skating, just probably after I'd stopped, but like I still knew them as skating types. They were Biggleswade people. But yeah, like the park now, when I go there, I rarely know anyone who's there. There's a lot of roadmen, you know.
Yeah, I've never gone there and recognized someone.
There was a stage over the winter where the Norton lights weren't turning on.
Yeah.
So you would go up there and it would be everyone from Norton was now at Biggleswade who could drive.
Yeah.
But I think like in terms of if I wasn't going to skate Norton, I'd probably skate Shefford.
Oh yeah. Oh, I used to love. I had a period where I just consistently skate Shefford because my little cousin, he had got into skating. I was like, oh, this is great because he lives in like Enloe. So I was like, it's kind of near Shefford-ish. I think, I don't know. But we would skate there and I loved the little bowl. Just like me and him going around this bowl.
It's a tight bowl though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teaches you to know concentrate and look where you're going. Yeah.
It's a harsh gradient. I realized, so when the same people who made Shefford, I went to see my sister while she was studying in Bath, had made the huge skate park in Bath.
Oh yeah.
And that park's amazing. It was a little bit wet when we went, and it was like towards the beginning of me getting back into skating, so I didn't really have much utility there. But God, it makes me wish that we were near like a city park.
Yeah. Oh, do you know? Oh, I loved. So we took a trip up to London and went to Camden, and the massive Camden skate park.
Cantaloups, the bowl. It's on the edge of a
like a tennis court thingy.
Yeah.
I think it's tennis court.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really deep bowl. And it's got like a bit where it goes like, yeah.
There's like platform layers to it. It's quite famous for like it being like one of the best balanced bowls.
Yeah, it was just when I went round it, I remember skating around it, and at this point I was like just sort of figuring out how to ride the bowl properly. So I was like trying to figure out this bowl, and I was just like, I don't understand it. And then I realized it was sort of built for like BMXers, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah, no, I love doing those London trips. That was last year, sort of like coming out of lockdown, July time. It was for my birthday, and me and my friend Harry. Do you know Harry? It's quite so me and him and Krishnan, our lot, we took a trip up there, and we've been like three times, I think. And it's great just skating around London. The city is great, because you just see everyone just sort of like, if you're trying to get through like a path, everybody will move out the way, and it's great. You're just like, yeah, move. Because there's just 3 kids on a skateboard, everybody's going to move out the way, which is just funny. But they were great, those trips. I wish we could do those again. It's just that sort of group has just
dispersed.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I've seen. Albert
and all that lot. The 1044 they were called. That was the group. Yeah.
There's so many names.
Yeah, it was a big group. It was a big group.
No, I know. So his matey boy, who's he looks like he's always just smoked too much weed.
Krishnan, that's Krishnan.
Yeah, so he's still. I see him at the park a lot, man.
Yeah, no, he's changed his mindset. He was sort of just chilling, smoking weed, and he was like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna get my like head in the game, and just started. He was like, I'm gonna like land everything.
He was there by himself. Every time I see him there, he's normally.
Oh, I love his mindset. Yeah, no, he's in the game. He was like, fuck hanging around with those people. He was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna like, and now he's like learning kick flips, tree flips. Like, I'm like, holy shit! Like, this guy's fucking crazy now. Like,
I feel like that's such a mature, like, at least my experience when I was a kid, it was very hard to realize when the friendship group or the space that you were in wasn't doing you any favors.
yeah,
And like I do remember with I used to see him like when I first started, and I could tell when he was like he had the weed phase.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, dude's like living AFK. Like I'd turn up to a skate park and I'd be like, I've said hi to you before, and he'd be like, huh?
yeah.
And now he's like seems to be like
A bit more alive.
Yeah, well, he's like, I was like, he was just like, I can't remember, but he was like going for tray flips the other day, and I was like, I didn't even know you could even get the flip of a tray flip.
Yeah.
At one point I thought I was watching him struggle to pop shove.
Yeah.
And now, but so it's like,
And he's the other day he dropped in on the deep end of the bowl. I was like, shit, like you've actually like, I'm like, holy shit, like
did it casual.
like a couple months ago, like you were just like trying to like do pop shovels and shit like that. I was just like, that's crazy. Like I'm so like happy. It made me so happy like that he's got like his head in the game and he's actually like properly skating really well, because he's like, and it happened to Callum was like, I really want to, like after we watched the Olympics he was like, I want to skate, I want to
Callum though, he's got a little repertoire under him that catches me off guard. Dude's like I'm a big fan of Callum.
I am. Everybody loves him. I love Callum.
He's a very likable individual. He's you know when you just meet someone who just naturally glows.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those guys.
He's got something about him.
I never met him and I'm like, oh, it's Callum. It's always like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
There's my guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I bumped into Callum, Reese and Co, your little posse at Serves.
the little Utes.
Yeah. The Blonde Collective. And literally, like I walked past, I just stared at Callum until he spotted me, and like the glow of his face where he's like, and I'm like, that's Callum.
And he's always so nice, and he's always got. I love Callum.
And there's like, he's not alone in terms of like the type of people you meet at the park who are like that, you know. It has this crazy community where it is like you just turn up and some people just will like
come over to you and be like, yo, what's up? Like,
it's less like when I used to go out and skate as a kid, it was just like, there's a potential when I go out and skate and meet with people at the park, it could make my day, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and it's 100%. Just like it's gone from being that thing that I'll do for an hour just because I need some exercise to this could potentially be like my next, like the highlight of my day. I'm going to be growing a friendship from this or something like that.
Oh yes, 100%. Because I remember a couple of days ago, I think it was Wednesday, I don't know, turn up and Shane comes over and I'm just like, yo, and we chat, and he's always got like something, like a cool story to tell me, like just a little story, and I'm like, that makes me smile.
Oh, it's a Shane, is it?
Yeah.
Oh mate.
And then I walk home, I skate home, and I'm just like thinking about that. I'm like, oh, he's so nice, like such a always happy. Like I've never seen him like unhappy. It's great.
Nah, for sure. Like he's very good. I mean, I can just tell from being around him for a while. He's definitely someone who has almost leadership's almost in his blood.
Oh, yeah.
And he's manifested this whole, like he's like a pillar of the community, you know, even with the stuff that's happening with Scurv.
Yeah.
But even just his presence when he turns up at the park, like I don't even see the kid skate much. Like
he doesn't need to.
He's
good by himself.
He's an emblem of good vibes.
Oh, 100%. I love Shane. He's got such a good mindset about just creating things. I was on the phone to him earlier, and he was like, I need to do this design. I'm gonna like get stuff done today. I was like, man, you're so motivational. Like you're making me want to go do stuff. And he's like, oh, I'll see you in a bit. I'm gonna go like design this for like Scurv. And I was like, oh, that's sick. I'm gonna go like do my washing. You're so motivational.
Well, that's the thing is, I'm gonna go do my washing. Well, that's like, and I've met with like a group of people like this now, but Shane's a prime example of like just someone who you can match energy with naturally and feel this motivation, you know. So that's why I brought Shane along for the Cozy Boys stuff for that, because this is something that my passion lies with, and a lot of like, and I was literally talking about this with my friend earlier before I came here. When it comes to like creative ventures, and Shane's really good at this, you've just got to finish your shit. You've got, like, whatever you start, you've got to see it through, and don't let stuff get in the way, because if you don't, and like there'll be times when, like, so when me and Shane initially spoke of doing the Scurv Cozy Boys decks, I rode that wave, did like 6 designs, sent him his way, and I was fully ready for it to just be blown under the rug, and we'd never talk about it again. But he comes back and he's like, right, next step is happening. We're getting this done. We're getting that done. And it's like really cool that you have someone that you have that energy with. And I think that's what a lot of people can lack, and what I've known I've lacked in the past.
Yeah.
And even so, I think I spoke to Luke about this, but I have so many things I try and fill my creative time with. I kind of like, do you ever remember in school, did you ever used to, like, in the toilets, just mash up wet paper towels?
Throw them on the ceiling.
On the ceiling.
Yeah.
Each one of those mashed up paper towel balls is my creative venture. Yeah. And I'm just waiting for one to stick, you know?
That's a great analogy.
Well, that's the thing. And if you just keep doing all of this stuff, one's
eventually
one's gonna stick and one's gonna ride you out. And I really hope for Shane it's Scurv, because I think Scurv's one of the, I don't think I would be skating as often as I am now.
Oh yeah,
if it wasn't for,
we're talking about it, the fact we're like talking about
exactly
this, it's
and it's like everyone at that park does it. You've got Albert's thing, 2 eyes?
Yeah.
Then you got Blonde.
Yeah.
You got Scurv. And I've seen, is this new, is it Fat Boy?
Fat Boy, there's, Wisteria, yeah. I think those are it. I don't know if there's...
there's even just as simple as what, I feel really bad forgetting his name, but Adorable Demons.
Oh, Lewis Bootle.
Lewis, yeah. That's the guy, yeah. And even just that venture.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was on his little music video.
I saw that, and when that came out, I was like, that's just like, I love like...
It's so fun making that. I was just like...
Yeah.
We got in the back of Shane's van. I'm just like, where are we going? Like, I remember the day it happened. I wasn't invited. I
just were there.
I remember getting to the skate park, and I was picking up a board from Shane. I was picking up one of his the one I'm riding now, and he was like, "Oh," and Harry and Daniel pulled up because they were in the like little skit, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm picking up a board," and they're like, we're waiting for Lewis and we're going to go film this thing. I was like, oh, cool. And then Lewis turns up and Shane turns up. And they're like, oh, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure. And we go do this thing. And I'm just like, after we finished, I was like, I did not think my day would end like that. Like,
yeah.
It was just so weird. But I love just making stuff with them, like little videos. And the fact that Reese came along and he was like, oh, this is going to be sick. And it was so fun just like thinking of ideas. And like, I don't think they had like a plan. They were just like, oh, let's film something. I think they had an end goal and we just had to come up with the filler, like this creative sort of story. And I was just like, this is great.
Pure
like
improv.
Yeah, and it was great. And
Reese recorded it, did he?
Yeah, he was the filmer. And I love just for like
the DOP.
Yeah. He was like, oh, if we do this, and like there was this one shot that he did where he passed the camera to Harry. I think it was to Harry through the gate as we're kicking down the fence. And
that's great.
And he passed it through. I'm like, how did you think of that? Like, he did it so fast. He was like, right, stand there to Harry and wait for me I'm going to pass this through and it's going to look sick. And I'm like, that's sick. Like, it was just a small little detail, but it made like so much sense. But he's great like that. I love Reese. Reese is like a big brother to me. and we both have this sort of unspoken thing where it's just like, yeah, your family. Like,
that's good.
I've known him for about
to have with anyone.
Yeah, I've known him for about a bit more than a year, probably more. I don't actually know, because I feel like I've known him way longer.
It's weird to quantify friendships where the connection is so on point.
Oh yeah.
I remember I had a friend, Connor. He literally, and I'm so annoyed, he's just moved down to Devon. He was going to be a guest on this, like, because our conversations are like, I could talk that man's ear off. I feel bad, but we can talk for like 3 hours and it'll feel like 3 minutes.
Oh, I love that feeling.
Because I remember when I was working at the outdoor store, I had a friend there, Henry, and we went and so basically we wanted to do a hike in the snow. We've never done like winter mountaineering before. We wanted to try something crazy. And so it was me, Barney, my cousin, and Henry, and I think that was the initial plan. It was just going to be us three, and we were going to drive up to Lake District with my brand new, I had a 4x4 at the time. I'd never driven it far before. It like used to go to the left, like it would just like, if I put the brake on heavy, steer to the left by itself.
Oh no.
It was tiny, loud, slow, like uncomfortable. You did not want to be in it for a 5-hour drive in the middle of winter. And we like, I think last minute Henry was like, I'll bring along my friend Connor. I was like, yeah, might as well, because we've got a YHA with 2 double bunks in, and we've got a 4-seater car. Yeah. And we squeezed like all of the kit in, ice axes, crampons, boots, waterproofs. Like that, like we finished work. I literally think we finished work and drove up, and we were driving along. So there's a road called the A66.
Yeah.
It's the pass that goes over the Pennine Way, over the Pennines, between the Pennines and Yorkshire Dales, and I think it's the highest dual carriageway in the UK, or at least England. And it was like blizzarding. I think it was like early 2nd of February, I want to say was the date, 2018, I think. And but yeah, like I didn't really know Connor that well. I barely knew Henry that well. I've been working with Henry for like under a year, and my cousin was like the person who I was like, I know you come with me. Yeah. I've never done a trip like this before. We're in a tiny little fucking 4x4. We can't hear the music over the sound of the fucking wind and God. Blizzard smashing against like, and it was like, because it's a short, tall little thing. It's pushing us off the road. And we get to the YHA, and like, I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm Matt, you're Connor. And he was like, I'm just going to go out for a vape. And I was like, I need some fresh air. And I remember I felt in the first time I properly spoken to him that we had a conversation as if like I've known him for the last 10 years. Yeah. And you just have those connections with people.
Oh, it's great.
I find it like, I always find that exciting, because that can always happen again. Like there's always going to be that next person that's going to pop up in your life and genuinely be a huge part of it.
Yeah. I have that. I love when that happens, because you can see it as it happens. You're like, this person's gonna make a massive impact in my life, and it's just like, you don't know. I have no idea what it was with Reese, because he was introduced to me by like the Hitchin lot, those skaters.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're right. I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, I've seen you skate, like I've seen your videos. I'm like, I want, and he like, I did this sort of little demo for him, just did my tricks, and he was like, I want you to ride for Blonde. And I was like, yeah. And then
sounds good.
I was like, since that, we just sort of like never not hang out. Like we're always like doing something, creating something, making videos, either just fucking around, doing stuff. And that was my person that clicked recently in the past like year and a bit. I love when that happens, and so far he's been the best thing that's happened to me while skateboarding.
Yeah, I think that's always important. I think it's crucial to realize that as well.
Yeah,
you don't take stuff like that for granted.
Oh no.
I've kind of, what's been fascinating to me recently, and just kind of thinking about, because we probably have like, there's times when, because we've never conventionally like hung out on purpose. It's always pure coincidental. It's like, I'll be at the park, you'll be at the park. And that's when we will have a catch up, or we'll talk about life or whatever. And the thing I was really thinking about when we had our last deep chat then was, so for you, I feel like so much happens in the space between us hanging out with you, but not so much with me. And I think part of this comes down to, and I've always been thinking about, do you ever, the thing is like time, like as you get older, time goes faster,
Yeah.
And I think like the way that works is like, so you're 16.
Yeah.
A year of your life is a 16th of your life.
Yeah.
For me, the next year of my life is going to be a 24th of my life.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot smaller.
And it's scary to think about, like,
how
that's a big difference. And I think my life especially is I think about how it's I think it's going so fast, but it's actually not. And time is quite slow on my half. And the amount of stuff I do, I'm like, oh, I do nothing. And when I actually think about it, I do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like, and most teenagers, I don't know what most teenagers my age are doing. Like, fuck knows. Because I don't really hang around with a few people my age.
I think you're at the milestone where people really start to branch off.
Yeah, and it's sad, but it's like, it's just what happens.
It's important. It's growth.
Yes, true, very true. And I've found a sort of peace with that. I'm just sort of like, it's gonna happen. It's just something it's natural, I guess.
Yeah, I think once you are accepting of being able to meander at peace and not try and railroad your own life, it comes a lot easier. I wanted to talk about a lot to do with, so our last chat specifically, I thought was probably a more impactful chat for me. Just because of, I feel almost a seasoned veteran. This was stupid to say, but you were speaking to me about things that you were going through at the time, and as someone who's 8 years ahead of the game, I was like, that's this, that's that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously a complete and like, at the end of the day, I never know 100% what you're going through, but
it made a lot of sense to me, and I was just like, that's, yeah, like, you did solve a lot of what I was like thinking in my head. I've still got some issues like going on right now, but like, it's nothing I can't really handle.
Yeah, I mean, it's things that just, you progress through naturally.
Yeah.
And but would you say this is in a post-lockdown climate, this is your first experience of what we'll call emotional burnout?
Yes, 100%. I had no idea why it hit me at that time. I assume it was just relationships and stuff like that with with women.
Those damn women.
Those damn women. Which really messed with my head, especially in this year.
I mean, for at least from my knowledge, at your age, the women feel the most enigmatic they'll ever feel, but at the same time, is front and center in your life, whether you want to or not, just on a hormonal level. So yeah, it's only understandable that it is a relationship, or something, a connection to a girl or something that triggers some sort of of what we'll call like a burnout.
Yeah, it was the fact that I'm not ashamed to admit this. I was a bit of a man whore, and I didn't really care about that. But it was the fact that I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just talking to like girls, and not really like actually getting to know him, I was sort of just like
withholding from actual connection.
Yeah. And I hated that. I hate the fact that I'd become that. I was just like, what am I doing? Like, what is my end goal? To like get with this girl and that's it. Like, I wanna be with someone I actually get along with. I wanna be like with someone like I'm friends with, that I can talk to, and I like be like, oh, this person's like my best friend, but I also have this other thing with them, like this real connection. And I feel like I have that at the moment. And I'm just like a bit scared to lose that, but that's what I'm going through at the moment. Like, just
I mean, it is very scary. I think, at least from what I've learned, is, you know, a lot of you hear in like films and stuff, and people are like, if you want something, you've got to go and grab it. You've got to make it happen. You've got to do this. If you want her, you've got to get her. All of this stuff.
Yeah.
From my experience and from retrospect, you can rely on the natural sway.
Yeah.
You know, things come naturally. People gravitate to each other naturally. It's not even like, it's almost scientific in terms of just like experiencing joy around someone enough that you become at least somewhat you can become addicted to a person in that way.
It's like that saying. It's like love is a drug, and people get.
Oh yeah, like 100%.
You can be addicted to loving someone. It's like why would you want that? But then again, it's just.
I mean, yeah, love, intimacy, and connection are all just as frail as you think they are. I think the worst thing is to fumble, and I'm trying to not chuck in another crazy analogy.
Nah, go on, do it.
Fucking like, let's say love is a scab. If you're sitting there picking at it, you're just going to cause more problems for yourself.
100%.
If you just leave it.
That's a good one.
I actually think, I think there is a quote, some philosopher, I don't want to butcher who it could be, and I'm too scared to pronounce philosophers' names because they're all fucking wild. But
wild names.
It's the muddied water quote. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's like, it's the whole thing where you can't. Oh mate, it might not even be a philosopher. I genuinely think this could be like a Drake lyric I'm thinking of, or is it like a Childish Gambino lyric? Anyway, so there's this saying or lyric or something, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase
some Donny. Some Donny said it.
Some man said this, but it's the whole concept of like, you know, like a muddy puddle. A puddle will stay muddy the more you kick it about, and you can't. The only thing you can do to a puddle to let it clear is to leave it alone. Like, I don't know if you like, you know,
that is very true. Yes. That is good.
And I really want to find the initial quote. I might. If it's a Drake lyric, I'm going to freak out. Oh, God, it could be as well.
It's a Drake lyric. Yes.
Oh, but it's like when you're playing in a stream and you kick up all the sediment. It's like the only way you can stop that sediment from being kicked up
back.
is just not touch.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that is important in everything with relationships and friendships and stuff, is just to let things naturally
run their course
the way they want to be. And I try and think, and for my sake, trying to think this more, even when relationships come to an end.
It's like reflecting on.
Yeah, it's fucking terrifying to go into a relationship thinking you're either going to be in this relationship forever,
or leave a horrible,
or it's going to be a horrible mess, and you're going to have to part ways. Understanding that relationships are purely periodic, and you sometimes just need certain people in certain stages of your life. I think that's 100% okay. And yeah, like, I think just being able to live through a friendship or a relationship any sort of intimacy with any sort of person, and just having that security that even if you guys drift apart, or even if you guys get closer and it moves on to the next step, it's a natural part of things, and if it happens, it happens. And if you want it, obviously pursue it, you know, but at the same time,
don't just ignore something.
Don't ignore red flags. Don't become infatuated. That's a very powerful thing. I think a lot of people, especially I feel like coming out of lockdown, infatuation's having this fucking redux where it's come back because people are resensitized to life. And then all of a sudden, it's like you leave lockdown, it's like you're infatuated with the idea of a person because you haven't seen this person for months, and now all of a sudden and it's like, it all comes down to self-awareness, I guess. It's, I think for me, is just a case of, I'm just repeating myself at this point, just letting things run their course. In any capacity.
This is very true, because with my experiences with the relationships, I'm going to talk about this, and I hate talking about this. But
very early. Oh, I love how early days you are as well. Sorry, continue.
No, it's fine. It's fine. God. So this year must have been about April. Yeah. I was going through a relationship. And it was horrible. It was this back and forth trying to, like, I was deeply in love with this person. Like I was like, holy shit. Like I feel like I thought I was in love. I still to this day I don't know what it was, that feeling. I assume it was love, but I'll never know. But it was back and forth, me trying to get this person, like, I was like, she was sort of like talking to other guys. I was like, no, you need to, like, I want you, like, and from that whole, eventually it ended terribly. She's now dating one of my friends. But I hold no anger to it. Yeah, it was annoying.
That's a very powerful thing to do as well.
Yeah, and I was heartbroken. I was a mess. But I hold no anger to it, and I still talk to him. I'm just like, if I'm civil, nothing's fine. Like, they were like genuinely all right people. It's not like I was like, oh, you're horrible people.
Well, no one did what they did to hurt you.
Exactly. So I was like, oh no, why be angry? Why be angry when
bygones be bygones?
Yeah. So I was like, okay. But it's like every now and then I see him together. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. But because, but no, I have learned to, like, just be at peace with like the natural flow of things, although it's hard to, like, process. It's just what happens, and I had to accept it. Although it pissed me off, I am now quite comfortable with, like, talking about relationships, because I've sort of opened up this doorway to, like, how past relationships can help me fix problems in a new relationship.
Oh yeah.
And I love the fact that has helped me to do this. And I'm like, if something's not right, I'm going to tell you. And, like, if something's wrong, like, I'm going to, like, address this so we can fix it. And I love the fact that I've gained that from past relationships and stuff. Even with friendships and stuff, like, losing friends, and I'm like, oh shit, like, I did not want to lose you. Like,
yeah, I mean, losing a friendship, I would say can be a lot more painful than losing a relationship, just because of just on a societal level, you're taught to almost take friendship for granted as if it's a given. No one owes you friendship, you know.
It's just it's nowadays it's quite rare, I think, to find
genuine intimacy. I think
so deep in like
yeah,
friendship is quite hard to find.
Like like I kind of I feel like to genuinely connect with someone on a friendship level is almost harder to find than connecting with someone on an intimate like romantic level. Just because at least for me, I've realized it's when I struggle to nurture a friendship the way it should be nurtured, and I'm very much in the mindset that it's like, yeah, if my friends want to hang out, they'll let me know, and I'll be here, and I'll be sitting here. But after a while, and like now recently, as I've gotten older, I've realized that like I need to. There's give and takes, and it's a natural thing as well in that sense where I'll do stuff and do what I can for an individual, and you can build your connection from there. So I mean, my obsession, the thing I catch myself a lot doing is just arranging. Originally it was the hiking. Like I'd always be like, right, let's get a group of lads. I'm convinced to really form a friendship with someone, you need to be having a near-death experience in terrible weather on a ridge. It's the only way. Like I mean, I am joking, but at the same time, there is no other way you can really connect to someone until you're fucking hanging onto their backpack trying to not fall down a gully.
God.
But like legit, like you form some crazy bonds doing stuff like that. I know a thing that kind of kept my friendship circle alive the majority of my early 20s, late teens was Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And just meeting up with a guy, and you just for one day, for 3 hours a week, one evening, you had to hang out with your friends and you had to do something together. And that's how that's just when natural growth happens. You're nurturing a friendship between you two. But you 100% get that same thing going to the skate park, meeting up with the guys then, and whatever happens from there happens.
Yeah, that's very true. God, I was thinking of something to say.
I've noticed a problem with one thing is when you can talk more intimately in the evenings, but you do forget stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, oh fuck, what do I want to say? And to be honest, like I've got these notes, and we haven't touched on anything. But you carry on.
I was. This might be in your notes. I don't know, but so earlier.
I have 4 notes, by the way.
Oh,
it's
nice.
just 4.
Maybe we'll have a see. So Reese, I think it was. Oh, fuck knows. My days are all mixed up at the moment. I don't know. One day this week, Reese came down the skate park. I was chilling with my galley, and he pulls off and he's got this t-shirt wrapped in a board, and he throws it at me, and I'm like, what's this? And I knew what the t-shirt was because he got it for my birthday. It was a Scurf t-shirt with a brick on it. No. I was like, oh, thanks, man. Gave him a big hug, and he was like, look at the board. And ages ago, I love this story. Ages ago, I was chilling at the skate park, and someone had left some really fucked up boards just lying around. There was a couple of them, and they were too small to ride. They were about eights. So I was like, I can't really ride them. I don't really like it. So I was
8s are considered small.
Yeah. So I was looking at this board, and I'm like, oh, nah. So I kept it. And then I was chatting to Reese at some point, and he was like, oh, have you got any boards I can like have? Like just to like doodle on. I was like, yeah, sure. Go home, pick up this board. And I remember looking at it and being like, this is a piece of shit. Of course he can have this. And I picked up another one as well, I think. Or is it still at my house? I don't know. And I remember giving it to him. He was like, I was like, what are you going to do with it? And he was like, you'll see. That was a couple months ago. That was like quite a few months ago. And and I'd completely forgotten about it. And then someday this week, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he gives me this board, and it is amazing. It is so well designed, so beautifully painted. It was varnished, and it was so detailed. He'd drawn, like, painted on it. It's now on my wall.
Nice.
It is a troll doll that is like cracked out, and it's like looking like a little drug addict, and it's got like black eyes, and it's got like in his hair, so he's got like this red glossy hair, and above it, like above the hair, as it goes into the hair, it says "Bitches love Zelfos." And it's the troll's like got a massive zoot in his mouth, and he's like got a switchblade and tattoos and rings and earrings and stuff. I was like, this is fucking amazing. And I gave him a big old hug and squeezed his ass. Oh, it was great. I loved it. And now it's on my wall, and I'm like, I love this. It's so cool. And I was like, and my dad said to me, I love this. He was like, you know, that's so cool, because Reese, the whole time he was doing that, he was thinking about you. Like, what he was like, I'm gonna make this for this person. I was like, yeah, that's so nice. Like, I appreciate that so much. Like, I've learned this massive appreciation for like things people do for me. I'm like, God, this person, like, I have a very good friendship with this person because of like, this is just like proved it. Like, I already knew I had an amazing friendship with him, but I was just like, this, he cares so much.
Yeah.
And
he's nurturing the friendship.
Yeah. And the fact was, it had so much thought in it, because when you search up Zelfos into Google, it comes up with a troll doll. Like a,
no way.
Yeah. And I didn't know this before I came up with the name. So I was a bit surprised. I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, he was like, oh yeah, I searched up your name and it comes up with this. And I was like, that's so like thoughtful. Like he put so much thought into that, and it gave me such a massive smile. And I was smiling on the way home while carrying this little board. Like, oh, this is so cool. Can't wait to show my dad. And that was great. Yeah, that was just something, because he remembered that, like, the bitches love Zelfos bit. That was great.
Yeah, I genuinely, like, I know like TV and stuff like that always make the idea of someone making something for you corny, or like, but it feels so good. And like, I think, I mean, under my bed I've just got piles of stuff where I can't bring myself to get rid of anything anyone makes for me, because it's probably one of the ultimate forms of like care, like being able to just like, this is for you. I've spent my own time making this while you're in my head. Exactly. Like, it's so powerful. And like, if anyone ever made like poems or a video or
mixtape or something like that.
Yeah, even just something as cute as a mixtape is like, wow, they've actually like genuinely thought about, you know. And I mean, a custom deck is probably one of the top tiers of just being
so many layers of like thought in it. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, I just gave him the biggest hug, and I was like, yes, like, this is I couldn't really say it. I was just like, thank you, like, big old hug. And I knew like he cares for me a lot, and he's like a big old brother. And I love creating stuff with him, and because we got Road Tar coming out 20th of August, and he never like shows me like he'll send me little things, like little like edit updates and stuff like that sometimes, but I'm always like wondering what he's making, because like I know he's working so hard, like creating stuff and putting music together and like making it all look so good, because the way the videos flow, I'm just like, holy shit, I can never come up with that. I just fucking skate, like you do the real cool stuff, like and I'm looking at like the transitions of some of the old videos. I'm like, I hope this is in there. Like, I know it's gonna be in the new one, so I'm looking forward to that, creating that with him. Just give. Sometimes I'll give him ideas and stuff, but he does it on him like by himself. Like it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he. I mean, I think I've seen that man more with a camera in front of his face than even just his face.
Yeah. He's always filming.
He's more or less devoted to the craft.
Yeah.
You've actually, I mean, not featured literally, but so I do videos, but completely different to what he does. And there's a shot I did of Norton, and you're in that shot.
Am I?
Yeah, you have actually, and it's Krisham's skating along in slow mo, and also Max. Literally, I was like, Max, put a top on before I film this bit, like. But I wanted it to be as candid as possible. So,
big old nips.
It was nothing to do with the skating, man. It was like it was.
That's great.
It was. I'll show you after this.
The fact that I didn't know that like you were recording, that's so cool.
I came down. I didn't even have my board with me. But I've been doing a lot of retrospective kind of content just to help me with this kind of post lockdown brain jumble that I've been in. So one of my projects was just to go around and film places that I'd spent a lot of time during lockdown, and I do very static, boring, still shots. So one of the places is a skate park. One of the places where I cycled a lot. One of them was a place, was a meadow that I went to, and like I think I always find it really fascinating because I know I've got a lot of filmmaking friends, so meeting someone like Reese, another person with their own, his design language is so clear. Like I instantly, before I see OGLM or before I see Blonde, I can just tell by like the edit style or the way he's filtered it or the way, like, I don't know if he's running presets or anything like that, but like it's just like, yep, this is something that's come from his brain, and I think that's really important for anyone to have.
It's very unique, and I love like every time he's like, oh, new thing coming out. We have like little group chats of like pre-releases and stuff, and I'm just like, this is like, it excites me every time. I'm just like, I have no idea what he's made, and I'm like always like, yeah, this is sick. Like definitely, like 100% people are gonna love this, and if they don't, I love it, and most of the community, like our community, does anyway. I
think the community, and what I love about our community is they all just love anything that you can tell passion's been put into, which is great because no one, like even me, just like slyly talking about my little car club stuff that I've been working on. Yeah. It's like, it's nothing to do with any of you guys. It's not skate related, but everyone fucking loves it. Yeah. And it's just like, I love, and like when like Luke like piped, I was like, Shane's been telling me you got this fucking car.
Yeah, and we were sat around a circle
car
talking
club,
about
and then I was like talking about it then, and I was like, people are all ears for, and you always got to like hone in on that in a community when people are like are passionate about other people being passionate.
People love it.
Yeah, and you just elevate, you know.
I'm buying a board for
mate,
the Cozy Boys board.
I really want the Cozy Boys board.
I'm looking forward to it. My board's getting a bit broken at the moment. I'm like, oh.
I'm buying like two, one for the wall, one for the deck.
I still haven't decided the design yet. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, oh, which one? But no, I think you'll have to choose one for me because I'm very indecisive when it comes to picking stuff like that.
I think the Picari one's going to be the most timeless, and that resonates. That was the first one where, like, before I even like even thought about Shane doing a custom design for between Scurv and Cozy, because initially I was just going to buy a deck off him, but I just wanted a different color to what he was selling it. Yeah, and then I was like, bro, I've kind of had this idea, and then literally the ball's been rolling from then. And the Bakari sweat design was something like, was always, because I think it's such an iconic, especially if you know Bakari sweat, it's such an iconic branding and design, and like the blue of the stained deck is the perfect blue. Yeah. So it's just, I was just like in my head, I was like, it will be so simple, but if you know, you know. Yeah. You know? And it aligns because obviously there's a lot of kind of Japanese influence in my stuff. And so that was one of the big things. It kind of was a good combination of the two design philosophies.
Yeah. I like that Japanese sort of 80s and 90s sort of vibe. I like it.
Yeah, like a lot of I'm starting to find a couple brands that have really done it and taken it to town, and I'm like just having a look and see what influences me. But it's just, I think it's the best part of the scene. I keep bringing up skating, fucking hell.
Yes, skating.
The car scene here has always been, in my opinion, more or less pants.
Yeah.
It's not as it's just, I don't know. I think it just lacks a lot of integrity. I think a lot of people are showboating. A lot of people are careless and reckless.
If I can talk about it, I feel like in Britain especially, it's a lot of just roadmen getting drunk and like just crashing into shit.
Yeah.
Like, and people are like, assholes, but there is actually like from what I've heard from you and from some talking to other people, there's this massive, deeper like culture.
So there's layers, definitely layers, because there's this line between, you've got your boy racers, you've got your enthusiasts, you've got your track stars, and then you've got your collectors, and then you get into your old heads who are like fucking hiding an MGB GT in their driveway and or have been sitting on their dad's E-Type and they're never going to put any miles on it. But I'm trying to find this harmony where my favorite experience with, and the same with skating, and it's the same with cars, is the people I meet and spending time together and doing what you love. And I think a lot with, at least with like a car meet, we have the Cruise Hearts meets, was our local meets before there was a very large incident that we won't go into, but before that it was like you turn up, everyone will park up, and it just felt showboaty and arrogant. Some guy was jamming music real loud, everyone was just like, it was just riced up, like barely modified cars. You could tell people just wanted to look cool. No one cared about the car they were driving. And it really and I was speaking to actually Jamie about this, because he obviously I've wanted to take pictures of Jamie's car for a while, because he's on the hype, the JDM. He's got a 240, and he hasn't done too much to it. He's just done, it's the perfect amount of like, it's a grassroots. You could imagine that would be parked up in like the back streets of fucking Japan, like on some forest road, and I loved that. And then I've got my friends, the same thing. The first friend I met, Josh, I literally only we make the joke that I'm only friends with him because he had a Skyline, but if I didn't see his Skyline rear tail lights at a car meet, we'd never be friends. And I think that's that feeling of being able to meet him because of the car he drove, and then we've been driving together since, is like, that's the feeling I'm trying to embody in the brand. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great sort of like input into the like an idea. That's great. Like I think because I love like, I don't know too much about cars, but I love just hearing about stuff, because I wasn't really raised, like none of my friends like talked about cars or anything like that. But recently, in the past, like, I don't know, couple of months, like half a year, I've sort of been looking into it and looking at stuff. I'm like, oh, this is really cool actually. Like, there's this like whole thing I didn't know about. Are
you gonna learn to drive?
Yes. Yeah.
Get to Norton a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. Hopefully, so next year I can do that. But no, what was I saying? Yeah, no, that's a cool embodiment. I like that. But I really want to get more into like the car scene, and when I can drive, I can come drive with you. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, if I can get this brand to the level I wanted to, I do want to start up the car meet in its sense, but not like, I don't know how I want to do it, but I need to change it up. It can't just be a bunch of lads in the car park showing off who's got the bigger dick, you know, who's got the better finance deal, you know. It's not.
Yeah, it's not about that.
Because like, I don't mind, like I've my car, the car that got me like loving cars was my granddad's Unos Roadster. And until like I barely even looked at it until I learned how to drive, and I was like, everyone was like, the best handling, like I think it's Jay Leno said this, the best handling car in the world is a McLaren F1. It's standard, you know, it's a hypercar, it's like multi-million-pound car. Second best at its price bracket is a Mazda MX-5, which is also a Unos Roadster if you get them from Japan. So I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. And then my granddad was just like, oh, yeah, I got an MX-5. And I was like, what? Okay. And like, they're normally everywhere, you know. MX-5s are popular. There's like 4 different versions of them. You can buy a brand new one literally opposite the road at Norton. Yeah. But this one is like, it was this little silver thing, got a little bit of rust around it. But then like I saw it and I was like, when I was really starting to learn about like Japanese stuff, I was like, that's not stock wheels. And it had some old Enkis on it. And I did some research. NKS racing wheels, the only thing I could find about them is some Japanese article about like when they got released, they came in 2 versions and like just Japanese import pages, and they're like proper like just niche out of nowhere. And then like I got in the car and it's got a Nardi steering wheel, which is like so you know over here there's like the Sparco steering wheel. Like Nardi is the Japanese Sparco, I think. But basically it's like a wooden like I was just like, ooh, there's actually a little bit to it. Yeah. And it had like this aftermarket roll bar across the back, and above the exhaust there's this washed out Japanese HKS sticker just sitting above, and I'm just like, what life has this car had?
It's had so much history.
Like, where's this car been, man?
That's so cool.
And I just was like, from then I was just like, this car needs to be mine.
Yeah.
And I drove it for a couple of years, but it's been off the road for a while now. And my like passion project whilst I'm at uni is to get it up to like presentable, driving nice, feeling good. And it will be, well, I say the show car, definitely the one of my trophy cars of what I want Cozy Boys to be, you know. Yeah. I'm going to style it the way that I would expect a cozy boy by definition would style their car.
Is that the one you're going to do the livery on?
Well, no. So Ashley, a friend of mine, this is another interesting thing. Ashley, I mean, he even said it himself. He feels like a one-dimensional person next to me, for example. Ashley knows fucking everything about cars. Yeah, it's crazy. It's fascinating. Like he helped me out, and I like. I'm so grateful. I originally bought some cheap shitty Ford Fiesta and blew the motor like straight away. Yeah. So we pulled out and we're going to put a new one in. And we spent evenings pulling this motor out, and Ashley would come around and was like, right, we're taking this off and this off. And it's mostly just him doing it and me watching and being like, you're doing great. Do you want any snacks? And like all the boys would come, and that would be like the evening, you know, like that was my evenings for the majority of 2019. Yeah. It was just like, the lads on my driveway crowded around the bonnet of this car pulling this engine out. And it's great because that's how it's growth. You're hanging around with your friends, and that's another thing that brings your friendship together, you know. Yeah. But Ashley, man, he's like knows everything about a car, but he does just know about cars. Yeah. Like I can then go off on a tangent about like music or mountains or photography or clothes, and Ashley will just like, I mean, he's very interested, and I love that he shows interest in it, but he very much is like, okay, let's go back to cars because I know exactly what I'm talking about with cars. And so he has an E30 BMW, Frank Ocean's favorite car, classic piece of German engineering. And I'm like, I want Cozy Boys to be JDM. I like the Japanese culture, I think really encompasses what I like about cars. But E30s are cool as fuck, and they're nice and they're smart.
Frank Ocean,
Exactly. I think I'm pretty sure, I know Travis Scott has one as well, and I'm pretty sure Tyler, the Creator, has one.
I've been getting into Travis Scott recently. I was like, when I did my little thing the other day, I was getting really into music.
Oh
videos.
Yeah, what little thing?
Yeah. Can we talk about that?
If you want to.
I don't mind.
It's all at the discretion of you. If you wanna put that on.
We'll just say it's like a little thing that happened. But it made me experience.
You were exploring your third eye.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Yeah, we'll say that. And it made me experience music videos. Like, and my friend that I was like having this little experience with, he was like, I'm going to show you this whole like range of music. And I was like, okay, like nice. I accept. And he was like, watch this. And we spent about like 6 hours watching like from Travis Scott to like, it's just fucking Frank Ocean to like all these music videos. I was just like, holy shit. There's this whole,
they just hit different.
He just pulled up this whole layer of music videos I'd never seen. I was like, and with this experience, it made everything just crazy. And now I have this like deep respect and appreciation for all these like music artists that I never really sort of delved into. And now I'm looking at them now and I'm just like, holy shit. Like because before then I was just like mainstream. I was like, I'm into the quirky shit. Like,
quirky shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I'm into like.
I'm not gonna call you out, but
well, go on.
No, I was just saying it's just like, I mean, the first artist I knew you were into was Doom, and
yeah,
I mean, definitely in post-mortem he's blown up, but even then, like, yeah, you keep quirky shit. I mean, for your age, to be fair, it is very impressive to find someone listening to. Especially someone who can recite the entirety of rhymes like dimes.
Oh yes, I'll talk about this. So, MF Doom. When
tangent on tangent right now.
Yeah,
we will roll back.
Yeah,
we will, but carry on.
It's just a little one. So MF Doom. I started listening to him probably 2020, start of 2020. I think I don't know. It must have been start of 2020. And I was like, who is this? And I appreciate him for doing this. Albert, I remember Albert being like, yeah, listen to him. I was like, okay. He was just like, listen to him. I was like, okay. And I started, I was like going through all his albums. I was like, yes. Like, I don't know why. I just fell in love with how he rapped. And I was just like, this is sick. And when he died, I was like, shit. Like, this is horrible. Like, people are gonna like, because the reason I was like, if I post anything, people are gonna be like, oh, you fucking like.
Yeah, well, that's 100%. I know exactly what you're about to say. Like,
oh, you didn't listen to him before. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't care. He's like, I don't want to be like, I did, but I did, and I was like, I'm gonna post it because I don't care, and I love this guy, and I loved his music, and it just I just fucked with it. I was like, this is sick. I got one guy come up to me. He was like, oh, you didn't listen to him before he died. I was like, I don't care. Like, I was just like, not gonna say if I did or not. Yeah. I was just like, I loved him, even though hadn't been listening to him. I'd been listening to him for about, I don't know, a year, and when he died, I was like, shit. And that was the first time I ever cried over like a death of someone that I didn't know personally.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God. Like I'm crying over this person that I'd never met. Like I'd never really seen his face. Let
exactly.
alone, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So I was just like, his voice, I'd fallen in love with his voice. I was like, that's crazy. Like, and I love that. And I listen to his albums all the time, and I don't know what it is. I still to this day, I don't know what it is. I love MF Doom.
There's some great, so like, I'll be honest, I think a month before he died, I downloaded Mad Villain.
Yeah.
And I listened to the entirety of that, and I was like, yeah. It's all right. Like Accordion, it's a good song.
Yeah.
There's one song that I loved. It was
Fancy Clown?
No, it's conventionally not known as the one that everyone likes. The one, the track before it, or the track after it is the MUA, and the one when they recite marijuana.
Oh yeah.
Marijuana, and then it goes into, and then it's like disc scratch, and then it drops into this really nice beat sample. It's called something like something slip or slipping or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Anyway, this track was like, and I was like, okay, if I can find more of this, Doom's a bit of me. And I just listened to it for a little bit, and then literally like his passing was announced on New Year's.
Yeah.
And
it was New Year's Day.
Because he actually passed away on Halloween.
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about. Someone
that he'd been dead for so long, and
that high profile. We just went, I started listening to him when he'd already died, but no one knew, which is
crazy to think about.
But yeah,
I think that's what really shocked me, because I was like, how did he die? How did they keep it so long without?
I respect that his wife who announced it, and she's like, they're withholding any information because I mean,
it's just private.
I respect that move.
Yeah.
But yeah, I downloaded Operation Doomsday.
Great album.
Oh, like literally, like
I don't think there's a bad song in that. I don't think there's one bad song.
The Doomsday, the title track is really good.
Oh, great.
But then it goes in, and then like Rhymes Like Dimes, man. Like I have no idea who kept that away from me for that long. It's such a good track. I've literally just downloaded Food like a couple days ago.
That I feel like that is probably my favorite.
It's
album.
a bit of an underdog. It's
so weird. It's just a weird fucking album. I'm just like, I love it. It's great. I just listen to it sometimes, and it's like a little story kind of. You have to start it from, if you're going to start it, you start it from the beginning and finish it. Like definitely, like you don't sort of.
I listen to full albums anyway, it really, and I think as an album journey, MF Doom albums are great because of the way he samples and stuff like that, and just like with the ad libs and stuff. It's so good.
He had such a creative mind. I had no idea how he'd come up with things, but I was just like, I love it and appreciate it. Yeah. MF Doom, what guy.
Mate, rest in peace, man. I literally
rest in peace.
I feel like an asshole just because I didn't find him sooner.
Yeah.
And I couldn't respect him sooner.
But the fact that we are is like,
it's
like,
half the thing.
Yeah.
Like, because my original, like, I was scared of rap as a kid. Not like scared as in like
scary
in
rap
that sense, but like I was that guy, and me and my friends were that guy where we were like, heavy metals and rock is real music, and I was like, and then I got into like EDM, dance music. Deadmau5 was a big influence of my early life, but Tyler the Creator is what kind of I was like, you know what, rap is actually cool. And I started listening to Tyler the Creator, and I just let myself enjoy rap and moved into Childish Gambino and like people who were big when I was getting
Childish
into it.
Gambino, what a guy. I love his music. Tyler the Creator, I still to this day haven't really listened to many of his songs, but people seem to love him.
Well, he's like, so like if you were into skating back when I when I was your age 8 years ago, or even younger than now, I think I was 13, 14, you knew about Tyler the Creator. Like I don't think he's only a couple years older than me, but he had his shit figured out because he was just fucking aggressive. And he would just he'd come out of all this crazy shit.
Fuck.
Didn't give a like Bastard came out, and like it was just like this grimy, like you've never heard anything like it in your life. And then Goblin came out, and I heard Yonkers for the first time, and I was like, my mum will tell me off if she hears me playing this out loud, but I love it. And
you see him in interviews and he's just like, this guy does not give a fuck what he says. Like,
but now he's this pillar. He's an icon, and I hope Tyler the Creator moves on to be the next, that kind of considered an icon of what he does in terms of the way MF Doom has now, and the way, like I know, I mean, Odd Future's done now, but if Odd Future would ever carry on to be something like what Wu-Tang was, Wu-Tang is just considered and that, like, these are all people who I'm really starting to dig into now, because I went down the route, literally the roots of, I started listening to the Roots, and they're a bit more, so they're like that New York, or are they New Jersey? I can't remember, but I don't know too much. I literally, like, Questlove made a song called Goodbye Isaac, and it's for, I think, his friend Isaac, who passed away. I don't know, but very somber but nice, comfy track. And I liked the backing tracks before I liked the rap. I'll be honest, I really liked, and then that's probably why I like Doom so much. Yeah, because he just puts layers and layers onto his stuff.
There's so much like to think about.
Yeah,
and like
his voice almost feels like it's an instrument on top of the layers.
Even now, I'm like listening to this song, Doomsday. I've listened to so many times, but now and then, I hear something that I've never heard before.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's new. Like, even though I've heard this song hundreds of times, I'm like,
well, yeah,
it's like what? I didn't know that was there. Like, you don't really. It's just, you're very right with the layers. Like, there's just so much there with all his songs. You have to really like look into.
Well, because I remember with I really liked in Rhymes Like Dimes, where it's like the guy that's shouting out all the ad libs. I can't remember who features on it, but he's like,
was it DJ Cucumber?
Yeah, something like that. And he's like ha ha, like shouting and
like really loud. And
it's
so
I
good.
loved that.
That was so. He's like, oh, I can't remember what he said. He just starts shouting food.
Like, woo!
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I never heard the
mashed potatoes,
applesauce, buttery biscuits, and I'd never even noticed the buttery biscuits before, and I was like, on like the 20th listen, I was like, that's fucking great.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, that's like one. Even though it's like the end of the song, it's like still one of my favorite parts.
It's a long track as well.
Yeah,
I think it's the longest one on the
album,
on the record.
Yeah.
But yeah, like rap. I had to let myself enjoy rap because I was very much that elitist. But we'll roll it back a couple notches. I want to get back to Ashley real quick.
Oh yeah.
So Ashley, we were talking about livery for the Cozy Boys car. Yes. He's got the C30. He's plonking in a new motor. I don't know exactly. I think it's the M50 engine. So that's like an inline 6. Basically, he's putting this like I think it was a 1.8 litre before inline 4, which 1.8 means small engine, not very powerful. Just trying to dumb it down if you don't know your engines.
I'm terrible with cars. I don't really know much about I just know logos and brands.
Yeah.
I do want to get into it. I think when I do, I'll come talk to you a bit more. You can, come teach me about stuff. I will put
you through to someone like Ashley who really knows his stuff. But anyway, so he's taken the small old BMW engine out and putting a new, bigger, faster BMW engine into the C30, and he's going to whack it on the track. And I was like, dude, I will design a livery for this, and we can have a Cozy Boys E30 race car. He wants to like wide body it and everything. I was like, that'd be so sick.
Yeah. I want to see that. Yeah.
Literally, like, I want to, like, I don't know why, like, what capacity, like, of media Cozy Boys would eventually be at that point for it to even need to sponsor a car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be iconic.
Yes.
I think it'd be cool.
It would just be fucking cool. That's so cool. I do want to see that. Do you reckon you'll like, what type of design do you think you'll put like
have you seen the design for the bombers yet?
Yes.
So there's like a really conventional, like a very common font that the Japanese used in the old days.
You showed me. It was very cool. I liked it.
And it's just a squiggly like 80s vibe. So it's going to be basically that same font. And then So, you know, I don't know if you know, like the main BMW colors when they do performance cars is white, black. No, I think white, dark blue, baby blue, and red stripes. I'm deliberately, like, as if they're sun faded, going into like, so this fading the red to a pink, fading and then fading the navy to more of like a purpley, like almost a grey, and then using that color combination. So it's like deliberately faded, and then we'll do some sort of like janky design.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to get a bit more experience with graphic design before I make anything crazy for it.
I'm looking forward to that a lot, because I love when people like create stuff for cars. Even though I don't know too much, I love looking at like the big new designs and stuff. Like I follow a couple of car accounts, I'm just like looking at the new stuff, and I'm always looking forward to seeing what you guys do. And because I'm assuming there's another Cozy Boys. It was called Cozy Nights. Yeah. I'm looking forward to if there's going to be a next one.
Yeah, so annoyingly, I was supposed to be in Wales this weekend filming with them to do the next one, but I had to just cancel because my headspace was just wouldn't cope with that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the coming weeks, I think now Gareth's car's done, we'll get the old Subaru out, and he can bumble away and we'll get some footage of it.
Very cool.
But yeah, I'm hoping to do like my regular creative ventures at the moment. I'm hoping to be this podcast, which originally was going to be every Monday. I might try and bump it up to a Sunday, or maybe just not care, and whenever it's done,
just whenever.
Over a Sunday and a Monday, I think is kind of the good time to release them. And then so those were going to be like weekly, and then Cozy Nights were going to be bi-weekly / monthly.
That's a good plan. I like that.
Yeah, and then eventually when I get back into the mountains again, the hiking videos will be like one every like quarter of a year.
Yeah,
it's generally how I do them. And that's like my video. I don't do videos really. I'm a photographer, but that would be.
I was actually like looking at your like Instagram, looking through your photos. I was like, these are fucking cool. Like, I was like, these are cool. Like, I can't take photos like that. I'm shit at taking photos. I was like, this is cool. And the ones of you just like, and I was looking through your like clothes, like where you like show your clothes and stuff. I was like, that's really cool. Like, I was just like, that's cool. Like, I don't see any, like, there is no video I know that does like that sort of like type of photography with clothes. There's a few girls on my Instagram that do like some stuff with like clothes.
So are you talking about like my highlights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. Like, just showing like different. It's just like, I don't know. It's very creative, and I like the sort of mood you put it in. And I was like, I really want to see like more of that.
It's a weird habit, man. And I don't think I've actually put together like an outfit in months, like cohesively to take a picture of it. But yeah, it was a habit I had, I think, since like 2017.
Yeah. Because
I just would post it among my fashion friendship groups and our little Discords and our Facebook groups. But Instagram was like where everyone. But I didn't want to make my actual Instagram about clothes.
Yeah.
I wanted my actual Instagram to be about pictures and like where I was going, pictures I'd taken, and it's all film as well. Like I don't touch a digital camera anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
keep it classic.
Exact. I just think film feels to me more authentic. It romanticizes an image more, which I really like.
Makes it more like natural looking.
Yeah. And so I just stuck all the outfit pictures and highlights and was like, if people want to see that, which
they can have a look.
They can have. It's literally like it's full, that highlight section.
Yeah, no.
Like,
I was like,
I have like a couple of my fashion friends who do pipe up, and they're like, I'm trying to find your outfit of when you wore that Cavent hoodie. I just wanted to see the fit of it, but I have to tap, and then screenshot. Like, can you just do like a Google Drive or something?
No, I do like it because I don't have a lot of clothes because I just don't. I'm fine with that. I wear joggers and fucking like this is the only time I've ever worn anything other than like joggers.
You like dressed up.
Yeah, I dressed up for the occasion. Because when I go to the skate park, I wear like fucking joggers and a baggy ass t-shirt. And
I mean, it's comfy.
Yeah,
it looks good.
And sometimes I'll wear like my rings and stuff. But I've always had a big love for like how the way people dress, even though I dress terribly. But how people like can make things fit. I just sort of pick up what's on the floor. But I feel like eventually when I get a job or something like that, and actually start making money, I'll probably either spend it on clothes or skateboards.
You could genuinely like. So when my first paychecks were buying clothes to sell, to then buy more expensive clothes with the money I make from selling clothes. I don't even want to. I can quantify my wardrobe at this point, but my mum would go through the roof and tell me to insure my wardrobe. It's like one of my main passions is collecting and like getting like very niche. Like I don't really like streetwear so much. I've got like bits of Supreme and stuff in there, but like I have particular stuff that I seek out and find. And I mean, I can literally make a whole episode, and I probably will get some of my fashion orientated buddies in here and really just go to town talking about, because I could go on all day about that sort of thing.
Do you make your own clothes sometimes?
So obviously, I mean, that's why I'm trying to go to uni. That's my passion.
You making clothes at uni?
Yeah,
fashion.
Well, I'm doing
mad.
I'm doing fashion.
I didn't know that.
I should be starting like I literally remember, I think it was with you when you were talking about going to military college. I was like, I might be going to uni in September.
Yeah.
I doubt it, because I basically, on a whim, applied for a uni that I wasn't qualified for. And they've actually turned around and they're like, yeah, you're in.
Oh my God, that's sick.
So I'll be starting it in London. So I'll actually still be home. I'll still be able to skate, even though I don't know if that... I feel like skating eventually is going to die off for me again soon as I focus on other things. But yeah, I'll be doing art and design.
That's great. I'm
fashion.
so happy for you, because I was like, I just didn't know what like you were doing for uni. I was going to ask, but that's great.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping to. So like, because over lockdown, I mean, to be honest, over the last 3 years, I've been designing. I think women's wear is what I prefer. I'm not sure yet, 100%, but I've been designing and making dresses. I've got a couple of them down, I think in the other room, where I was cut and sewing men's waterproof jackets and helping them like form to the figure and just be. I like the idea of, I mean, I don't know if it makes much sense to you, but bringing functional, outdoor, sustainable recycling and all of these sort of keywords were coming to my mind, and putting this into what's known as couture, which basically is the top end. It barely exists now, but it's the top end of fashion, where basically dresses were designed specifically for people, like a person,
for certain people.
So you know, like the Met Gala. I don't know if you know what the Met Gala is, but it's like a dinner.
A fashion show.
So it's a dinner. I think it's a charity ball.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but it's now turned into like, if you go there, you gotta be dressing. You gotta look fucking mad, and it has different themes every year. But basically, for that sort of thing, people have a designer dress for them.
Oh wow.
You know, as opposed to what normal fashion is called ready to wear. Because basically, you see it on the runway, you wait a couple months, it starts popping up in shops, and you buy it.
Yeah.
But I like to play with this idea of bringing recycling and my passion, which is hiking and stuff, so outdoor garments, and repurposing them for couture. So I got the measurements of my friend, and I was like, right, we're going to design this. So this, what was once like a men's parka jacket that kind of finished at the waist, now finished around like the top of her thigh, and it bellowed out like a skirt, and then it had like, I sewed a backpack into the back of it, which was semi-stolen by one of my favorite designers, Jonyo Watanabe. He did something like that, but I did my own version. Don't sue. But yeah, took pictures of that and sent that to Central St. Martin's, and they were like, yeah, that'll do, in you come. So
nice.
That's how it be.
That's a cool story.
So when you're off in military college, I'll be hanging around with a bunch of, I'll feel like the least designery out of them. I feel like there's going to be some crazy people there.
Yeah.
That are just going to be so, like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like
maybe you might be the crazy one. You'll be the crazy designer that people are going like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Maybe.
Never know.
Maybe. I feel like I'm going to be the only one that's like from the villages who I like to hike in my spare time. They're all going to be like these eccentric city people.
We do coke and LSD and then we draw.
You know, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, we take psychedelics and then
paint ourselves and jump off buildings.
Exactly. And, like, I'm like, yeah, I just I drink peppermint tea and I go walking with my family.
Sometimes listen to rap.
Listen to rap, but mostly ambient because it makes my ears feel nice.
That's great. No, I'm scared for college. God, new part of my life. It's gonna be scary.
See, I've always avoided transition like that. Yeah. So I'm excited for you because I'm shitting myself. Honestly. When I finished my GCSEs, I just went on to sixth form at the same school.
Yeah.
And I wish I moved on and did something like that.
I am shitting bricks because I don't know why. Because I feel like I'm ready to do something like that, but then again, I'm just like, I don't want to lose my I'm not going to, but I'm like, I'm missing out on stuff like my friends and like just stuff that's gonna happen. I'm like,
well, it was like, yeah, I know what you mean, but it's like I was saying earlier, like, things naturally happen.
Yeah.
If you're meant to be around your friends whilst also going to college, these things will naturally happen.
Yeah.
But don't hold on if it hurts more.
Mm.
If you think it will hurt more to let go, because if you hold on, it will probably hurt longer. But now, like, literally, I think you'll meet new people and you'll be onto new things, and at the same time, because is it a bunking?
Yeah,
bunking there?
Yeah, I'm staying there. It's a boarding.
Are you back at the weekends, or are you?
No. So
you're there for a long time.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Harrogate, so it's like 4 hours away.
My friend lives in Harrogate. I'll tell him to help you out.
Yeah. It's scary because I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I'm gonna get money. I'm gonna have like a whole new experience of like this crazy shit. Like, it's good exercise, like free food, like all this stuff, like accommodation, and just like finishing my education, but also getting paid to do it as well.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. But then again, I'm just like, holy shit! Like a few months ago, I was like sitting in a classroom, like, I don't know, throwing paper at people.
Yeah,
I'm like, just being a fucking kid, and I'm like, now I'm doing all this shit. Like, now I'm making plans for my future. Like,
well, this is your first experience of making almost a life-changing decision.
And it's
without sounding too scary.
It's fucking scary.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do this, but I have to. And I know it's the right thing to do, because if I don't, I'm just going to be like regretting like not going. And then I'm going to end up at some other college because I can't get into sixth form. So I'm like, this is an opportunity. I'm fucking taking it. Like, that's it. But now that I've said that in my head, I'm like, I'm still fucking scared.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm literally, even like at 24, I'm fucking terrified of going to uni.
Yeah.
I'm only there for 4 days of the week and then I'm back home in my safe little bubble. But like I said, mate, it's a key part of growth. And I mean, especially at your age, you're still like finding so many parts of yourself. So, and I guarantee going to college, especially in that capacity, will help you build so much in terms of like your mental space. I literally, all right, I'm going to look through the notes now.
Go on, read the notes.
So my original notes, the things I wanted to talk, we spoke a little bit about kind of how, like, I wanted to talk about how years feel shorter to me than probably to you at the moment.
Oh yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. Then a little bit of post-lockdown burnout I wanted to kind of talk about, you know, because we had a really good chat about that recently.
I felt like we would need to go into another.
We can revisit. We can revisit. And coming of age has kind of been the underlying theme, I think, of a lot of what we've spoken about. And talking about the diversity of the skate park and the elders, the
community,
youngers, stuff like that.
That was great. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm always going to keep notes for podcasts.
Just like little doodles and stuff, maybe.
The fact that we didn't even need
exactly.
It was just off the top of the old lid.
Yeah.
And we
tangent
got plenty of stories out of it. I need to find a way. I need to find an excuse to chuck out some of my stories in the future. I've got some fucking crackers.
Yeah, maybe start with them. Start with just start talking about one. And then
yeah,
that'd be good.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there. Yeah. This is 2 hours and 7 minutes deep.
Holy shit.
I think there's a little bit because I started recording really early. I think I'll trim out some of the beginning and try and get it under 2 hours. But
yeah,
this is good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Stop
us there.